All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Chapter 11. Antya Lila Chapter 11. The Passing of Haridāsa Ṭhākura. The summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya as follows. In this chapter, it is described how Brahma Haridāsa Thakur gave up his body with the consent of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and how the Lord himself personally performed the funeral ceremony and carried the body to the sea. He personally entombed the body, covered it with sand, and erected a platform on the site. After taking a bath in the sea, he personally begged prasadam of Jagannath from the shopkeepers and distributed prasadam to the assembled devotees. Text 1. Namami Haridāsam tam Caitanyam tam chatat prabhum samstitam api yan murtim svanke kritva nan artayaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridāsa Thakur and his master Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridāsa Thakur on his lap. 2. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya, Jaya Daya Maya, Jaya Advaita Priya Nitya, Nanda Priya Jaya. All glories to Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is very merciful and who is very dear to Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. 3. Jaya Srinivaseshvara Haridāsa Nata, Jaya Gadadhara Priya Svarupa Prananata. All glories to the master of Srinivas Thakur. All glories to the master of Haridāsa Thakur. All glories to the dear master of Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to the master of the life of Swarup Damodar. 4. Jaya Kasi Priya Jagadananda Pranishvara, Jaya Rupa Sanatana Raghunatesvara. All glories to Lord Śrī Caitanya, who is very dear to Kasi Mishra. He is the Lord of the life of Jagadananda and the Lord of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. 5. Jaya Gora Deha Krishna Svayam Bhagavan Kripakari Deha Prabhu Nija Pada Dana. All glories to the transcendental form of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, kindly give me shelter at your lotus feet by your causeless mercy. 6. Jaya Nityananda Chandra, Jaya Chaitanyera Prana, Tumhara Charanara Vinde Bhakti Dehadana. All glories to Lord Nityananda, who is the life and soul of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, kindly give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. 7. Jaya Jaya Advaita Chandra, Chaitanyera Arya, Svacharane Bhakti Deha, Jaya Advaita Acharya. All glories to Advaita Acharya, who is treated by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as superior due to his age and respectability. Please give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. 8. Jaya Gora Bhakta Gana Gora Yanra Prana Sabha Bhakta Mili More Bhakti Dehadana. All glories to all the devotees of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, for the Lord is their life and soul. All of you kindly bestow devotional service upon me. 9. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Jiva Raghunatha Raghunatha Gopala Chaya Moranatha. All glories to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are all my masters. 10. Esaba Prashade Liki Chaitanya Lila Guna Yai Chaitai Liki Kari Apana Pavana. I am writing this narration of the pastimes and attributes of the Lord by the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. I do not know how to write properly, but I am purifying myself by writing this description. 11. Eimata Mahaprabhura Nilachale Vasa Sanghe Bhakta Ganalana Kirtana Vilasa. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri with his personal devotees and enjoyed the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 12. Dine Nritya Kirtana Ishvara Dharashana Ratre Raya Svarupa Sane Rasa Asvadhana. In the daytime, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in dancing and chanting, and in seeing the temple of Lord Jagannath. At night, in the company of his most confidential devotees, such as Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he tasted the nectar of the transcendental mellows of Lord Sri Krishna's pastimes. 13. Ehimata Mahaprabhura Shuke Kalayaya Krishnera Viraha Vikara Angena Nahaya. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu very happily passed his days in this way at Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Feeling separation from Krishna, he exhibited many transcendental symptoms all over his body. 114. 14. Dine dine bade vikara ratre atishaya chinta udbhega pralapadi yata shastrekaya. Day after day the symptoms increased, and at night they increased even more. All these symptoms, such as transcendental anxiety, agitation, and talking like a madman, were present, just as they are described in the Shastras. 15. Svarupa Goshani Ara Ramananda Raya Ratri Dine Kare Donhe Prabhura Saya. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, the chief assistants in Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, remained with him both day and night. 16. Ekadina Govinda Mahaprashada Lana Haridāsa Dite Gela Anhandita Hana. One day, Govinda, the personal servant of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, went in great jubilation to deliver the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food to Haridāsa Ṭhākura. 17. Dekhe Haridāsa Ṭhākura Kariyache Sayana Manda Manda Kariteche Sankhya Sankirtana. When Govinda came to Haridāsa, he saw that Haridāsa Ṭhākura was lying on his back and chanting his rounds very slowly. 18. Govinda kahe uttasi karaha bojana. Haridāsa kahe aji karimulangana. Please rise and take your Mahaprasadam, Govinda said. Haridāsa Thakur replied, Today I shall observe fasting. 19. Sankhya kirtana pure nahi ke mate kaiba. Mahaprasada aniyacha ke mate upakshiba. I have not finished chanting my regular number of rounds. How then can I eat? But you have brought Mahaprasadam, and now how can I neglect it? 20. Ita boli Mahaprasada karila vandana ekaranchalana tara karila bhakshana. Saying this, he offered prayers to the Mahaprasadam and took a little portion and ate it. Purport. Mahaprasadam is non-different from Krishna. Therefore, instead of eating Mahaprasadam, one should honor it. It is said here, Karila Vandana, he offered prayers. When taking Mahaprasadam, one should not consider the food ordinary preparations. Prasad means favor. One should consider Mahaprasadam a favor of Krishna. As stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Krishna Bhada Daya Maya Karibe Jivajaya Svaprasada Anadila Bai. Krishna is very kind. In this material world, we are all very much attached to tasting various types of food. Therefore, Krishna eats many nice varieties of food and offers the food back to the devotees, so that not only are one's demands for various tastes satisfied, but by eating prasadam, one makes advancement in spiritual life. Therefore, we should never consider ordinary food on an equal level with Mahaprasadam. 21. Aradhina Mahaprabhu Tandratani Aila Shustaha O Haridāsa Bali Tandre Puchila. The next day, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu went to Haridāsa's place and inquired from him, Haridāsa, are you well? 22. Namaskara karitenho kailani vedana sadhira shustahaya mora austa buddhimana. Haridāsa offered his obeisances to the Lord and replied, My body is all right, but my mind and intelligence are not well. 23. Prabhu kahe konvyati kahata nirnaya tinho kahe sankhya kirtana napura aya. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu further inquired from Haridāsa, Can you ascertain what your disease is? Purport. Haridāsa Thakur replied, My disease is that I cannot complete my rounds. If one cannot complete the fixed number of rounds he is assigned, he should be considered to be in a diseased condition of spiritual life. Srila Haridāsa Thakur is called Namacharya. Of course, we cannot imitate Haridāsa Thakur, but everyone must chant a prescribed number of rounds. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have a fixed 16 rounds as the minimum so that the Westerners will not feel burdened. These 16 rounds must be chanted, and chanted loudly, so that one can hear himself and others. 24. Prabhu kahe vridha haila shankya alpakara siddha deha tumi sadhane agraha kenekara. Now that you have become old, the Lord said, you may reduce the number of rounds you chant daily. You are already liberated, and therefore you need not follow the regulative principles very strictly. Purport. Unless one has come to the platform of spontaneous love of God, he must follow the regulative principles. Thakur Haridāsa was the living example of how to follow the regulative principles. Similarly, Raghunath Das Goswami was also such a living example. In the Sad Goswami Astaka, it is stated, Sankhya Purvaka Namha Gana Natibi Kalavashani Kruto. The Goswamis, especially Raghunath Das Goswami, strictly followed all the regulative principles. The first regulative principle is that one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly enough so that he can hear himself, and one must vow to chant a fixed number of rounds. Not only was Raghunath Das Goswami chanting a fixed number of rounds, but he had also taken a vow to bow down many times and offer obeisances to the Lord. 25. Lokani starite tumhara vatara namera mahima loke karila prachara. Your role in this incarnation is to deliver people in general. You have sufficiently preached the glories of the holy name in this world. Purport. Haridāsa Thakur is known as Namacharya because it is he who preached the glories of chanting Harinam, the holy name of God. By using the words Tomara Avatara, your incarnation, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that Haridāsa Thakur is the incarnation of Lord Brahma. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that advanced devotees help the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his mission, and that such devotees or personal associates incarnate by the will of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord incarnates by his own will, and by his will, competent devotees also incarnate to help him in his mission. Haridāsa Thakur is thus the incarnation of Lord Brahma, and other devotees are likewise incarnations who help in the prosecution of the Lord's mission. "26. Ebe alpa Caitanya-caritāmṛta Sankirtana Haridāsa kahe sunamura satya nivedana." The Lord concluded, "Now, therefore, please reduce the fixed number of times you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra." Haridāsa Thakur replied, "Kindly hear my real plea." Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhaktimadhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Vigyan Muni Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Nishkam Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Hari Bol.